And everybody, welcome to the July 21st edition of the Arkansas Diamond Report. We got Dudley here, got Jason here. Want to thank you all for jumping on with us this evening. Man, Dudley, how you been?
Doing good, doing good. Just staying busy, with the baseball draft and then the follow ups and all that. So,
If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, throw those up here. We'll get those put on here live with us, and we will go over those with you. Uh, the I would say the most recent big news is Kahil Aloy winning the Cape Cod League Home Run Derby. We're going to talk about that for just a second. Now, here's a nice little graphic here that the U of A have put out there, and I'm going to tell you, they said that this from the people that were there said that this was probably the biggest home run derby that they've had as far as length or distance goes with those home runs.
yeah, and he came through in the clutch a couple of times. He hit 12 the first round, hit 28 altogether in 3 rounds, 12 the first round. Then his main competitor went up and hit 12, and he had to match that and did that by getting his all of his last three to get to 12. Then they had a slug off, I guess you call it, and went. The first kid went and had three, and he had four and had a couple extra balls left. So he did a great job, and he's hitting the ball well this summer. Still a little bit too many strikeouts, but you know what you get with him, swing and miss, much like his older, richer brother. Now
He's got 3 million reasons to count that out now.
yeah, but he had a great had a great home run derby. Played in the All Star game as well. They've really had some guys doing a great job up there in the Cape Cod and California leagues this summer. Britton Clark, who will challenge for one of these outfield spots for sure. This next year, he certainly is playing well. Also hitting over 300.
Really quick, and I haven't looked this up yet. I was going to ask you really quick off the top: is Kahil playing every day, or is he DHing?
He is playing every day, playing in the outfield. That was kind of the basically the coaches, tell their coaches what they want them to play, and then they get around to doing that. Makul Nia, who is the young man from Marshall that is playing on the same team, Burn, this summer, is he played shortstop last year. He's playing center field this year. He played shortstop out of necessity for Marshall. Playing center field this year, leading the league in hitting as of last I saw. Had more home runs than anybody in the league game so far. Looks like he's going to be a dandy pickup for them.
And I wonder if this could be a situation like what happened with Vahiva last year, where Kahil can start to catch some fire, get some more consistency through the summer and through Cape Cod League, kind of springboard that into fall like Kahil did. I'm not trying to compare. I'm trying to make a parallel assessment here, where you saw what Vahiva did. I'm not saying Kahil could, but if he's playing every day, I would almost anticipate that some of his production numbers, just through the fact that there's more consistency between fielding and batting, that his averages might go up a little bit.
Yeah, certainly could be the case. And you usually see kids get better in the second year in a system anyway. And this will be his third year in college next year. So it's having gone to BYU as a freshman, and it's one of those things. It's as they say, a contract year for him. And apparently he's all the stats would indicate and the talk would indicate that he's having a really good summer. And I right now I expect him to be in right field.
And that really kind of helps Dave with kind of sewing up some of those outfield spots, because you're losing your entire outfield.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, they should be. I suspect Justin Thomas will sign, and obviously the other two are gone. Logan Maxwell out of eligibility, and the other young man got drafted. Chuck Davelin got drafted by Los Angeles. Him and Zach Root went back to back to the Dodgers, and I suspect he's going to get a lot of money as well, enough to turn pro. That is.
I would think that he probably can go to the store and buy about what he wants now.
Yeah. I suspect if it started today, I suspect you might have You might have Zach Stewart or Kehoe in right field. The other one could play left field.
Mhm.
Nia in center field right now, and Britton Clark would be the fourth guy there that could earn a spot with a good fall and good spring.
And also, you've got, um, oh, I went blank there for just a second. But nonetheless, you've got a slew of Razorbacks that have signed already. Just recently, if I'm not mistaken, Ben Bybee had just signed his contract.
Yeah, four total so far. That were drafted. Dylan Carter also signed a free agent contract with San Francisco Giants. As we said, Villoy, 3.4 million reasons for him to sign. Landon Beetlecheese signed with Atlanta for in the 290,000 range. Ben Bybee in the 230 range to San Francisco, and then I'm having a brain. Oh, Christian Fouts, the fifth round with Boston Red Sox, and he got over 400,000 to sign.
Yeah, I did see a tweet. I think Dudley, you may have reposted, where the Phillies are looking at Gage Wood the way that they were looking at Aaron Nola a few years ago, where he's going to be a guy that they're going to sign and they're going to elevate pretty quickly.
Yeah, and there was some talk early on, especially by the guys on ESPN and MLB.com, about him possibly coming up pitched in the bullpen for them at the end of the year. They say that they don't really want to rush that. And obviously with his injury history that he had, you don't want to overtax that arm. You got just enough out of him at the end of the year, and so they're going to be spend a lot of money on him, and so they're going to be very careful with his shoulder impingement, make sure it's fully healthy, and there's really no reason to rush him. They're playing good ball already, and I'm sure that they are just about to get that contract taken care of because it's rolling. If you look on the MLB draft tracker, it's rolling down. Everybody's starting to sign above him, and so that's going to get around to it.
Are some of these players, with the whole fact, them signing at a certain time, and I know this may be contrary to what a lot of people think or believe, but is it them maybe kind of buying a little bit of time off between their last games in June, giving them a little bit of time off to springboard them into the dog days of summer?
Yeah, I mean, it could be that a little bit, but they've only got till July 28th. If you are not signed by July 28th, then you're out of luck. You got to come back, or you got to go find an independent league team. So you'll see everybody sign in this next, I guess, by next Monday. Would be the 28th, I think. And it's interesting. Everybody that I've seen sign so far has signed for less than their slot value. And I'm not talking just about Arkansas. I'm talking about everybody else except for one guy. That would be the shortstop at the University of Arkansas, or the former shortstop who got his full slot, 3.4. So clearly, and I think that's why there's some surprise at the top of the draft. Even the number one pick, Ethan Willits, he signed for like $1 million less than his slot value because they said, hey, we'll take you first. You'll always have been the first pick in the draft pick if you'll take this. And so they did that, and they were able to spend that money, their slot value salary pool, spend that money on some other guys that they're going to get signed now.
Did that whole fact, or the whole thing where none of the players showed up, did that have to do with some of that?
It's kind of become a thing, I think, lately to just be there with your family, and everybody was doing that. But you are right. Nobody showed up. I can remember there were a whole bunch of people 2 years ago, a few last year. It just seems like it's dwindling each time. And, I think it's a good thing to do. But at the same time, if you're not sure where you're going, everybody's going to watch you on TV fall. And, certainly I'm sure that V was glad he didn't go because, he would have been sitting there and they would have put the camera on him all night. Yeah, he's waiting.
And, that Gage Wood was a top 15 lottery, but he was a top 15 projected pick.
Mhm.
You had V. He was a high projected pick. These guys went in the late 20s, early 30s, except for Gage didn't, but like with Root and Davalon, those guys, if they would have showed up, they would have been sitting there for quite a while too. And I heard that whenever I was watching the draft, that a lot of the agents got together and said, "Hey, you know what? We're not having our guys go this year. We're just going to have them stay home, let them do their own thing," and that was it.
Yeah, it's worked out really well. I think for everybody that they were able to have it with their family and friends. And, there were several live cameras that in homes and stuff. But it's just one of those things. It's a trending thing now to not go.
See, and that's the thing too, is that I feel like the pomp and circumstance around the MLB draft is not like what it is with the NBA and the NFL draft. It just isn't. It doesn't have that feel. It has that very homey, not very close feel, and not a very sexy feel, if you will. And I just, if I was a baseball player, I wouldn't go. I just wouldn't.
Yeah, it's a nice facility that they had it at. The Coca-Cola thing there in the Battery, which is attached to Atlanta Stadium. So it's a nice little area. Pedro and I stayed there the last time we went to see the Cardinals play in Atlanta, and it's a nice place. But again, it's just there's a reason they call Hartsville Jackson the busiest airport in the world. Is because it is. And that's flying in and out on that day used to be a thing, but now it's I think these guys are seeing, as you said, the agents are seeing people take just do it at home.
Yeah, I mean, you saw Josh Holliday's kid, or Matt Holliday's kid, over in Stillwater, just right down the road from us. Stayed at home too. He had his uncle there, whole family. Looked like hell, I think his whole baseball team was there. Oh, and he played for Stillwater High School, and that was a huge trend. Was a lot of shortstops and high school kids going in that top 15 range.
Yeah, and we'll see how it, if they jazz it up a little bit or do something different. But I had no problems with it. I tell you what, is a draft watcher and reporter, what's wild is the second day when they don't really have the people talking too much about them. Certainly not the famous people. They have a few guys that come along and give analysis. But it's one of those things that you have a automated voice each 2 minutes going, the Atlanta Braves take with the 146th pick, such and such. And I know that last year Pedro was out away from the house during the automated part this time, but I know that last year she was like, come on now.
And again, that also breeds the fact that it's almost unwatchable. And there's so many stinking rounds. I mean, with the NFL draft, you got 7. With the NBA draft, you got 2. And then whenever you go to the Major League Baseball draft, and it's just because of the sheer number of the size of teams, you have to have those large number of rounds.
Yeah, you had 20. You've had 20 for the last 5 years. Before that, it was 40, and it was even more arduous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. And I feel like, and this is something that I really feel like could be on the horizon. I like the way that they ended the All-Star game. I like the fact that they had a home run hit off, lack there of a better term. It is more engaging. You have more fans that are more invested, and you're in and out of there in 20 minutes. This isn't I know that back in the day, it was more or less a rite of passage to go through a 12, 16, 18 inning game every once in a blue moon. But you start putting guys on second, that's starting to speed the game up. Now you got a chance where you can have a 2.5 hour game followed by an extra inning of home runs. Hell, who doesn't like home runs? And be done in 10, 20 minutes. I feel like that is something that I think they're going to probably go towards.
Yeah, and you certainly didn't want to have somebody pitching in the 10th, 11th, 12th, innings after a 9-inning game and it being placed the way it was going. I mean, the National League was roaring away, there for a while. And certainly you had the opportunity. I think I'm old school and I like the way it used to be. I wasn't going to this clock. They needed to get that out of here. They're stepping out of the box. They needed to be able to do that, throw in first a couple times, I wasn't too sure about that. But as it's made its way around, I've liked them all, and I think I'm going to come around sooner or later to the automated ball strike system.
Mhm.
But as of right now, I'm like, I enjoyed seeing Billy Martin and all the old timey
Casey
managers
Stengel
get
and all
up
those
in
guys.
the
Yeah.
umpire's face, and Ali Marmol does it a little bit for the Cardinals. Just when he needs to get them out of their own way, which he needs to right now since they've lost 10 of 14 and season's going away real quickly. Gotta get some prospects at the trade deadline. Can't be adding.
No,
You can't be bringing in anybody you're thinking that you're going to make the playoffs. And if they did make the playoffs, 2.5 games out right now, or 3.5, they aren't going anywhere.
No.
It'll be a wild card thing. You don't have Sonny Gray's been a decent pitcher for him this year, but he had a bad outing, his last outing, and it's just time to reimagine. Is what they called it. I did not like that word, but it is time to go young and figure it out. I mean, you had Adam Wainwright in the pitching rotation last year. There were 3 people, him and Lance Lid. So there were 3 people over 35 last year.
Yeah.
And they got just slightly younger this year with Wainwright going away. And you have a lot of the same guys, Lynn going away. So, it's time to let the young ones play, because the current Cardinals played really, really well for a while, but it's not happening anymore. And you watch them go up here and lose to one of the worst baseball teams ever in record-wise, 25-78 or something like that right now, 68. The Rockies. Now I'd love to be there, because that would mean we'd be getting to see our daughter there in Denver. But
Man, I'm going to tell you. Oh, also the AARP did call before the start of the season. They did revoke the Cardinals card because they did get slightly younger in age, but they said
we got 35 to 40 bunch. Then we got nobody.
Yeah.
25 to 35, except for Arenado, and then we got everybody else is 25 and on down.
See, and that's the thing. The Cardinals only have a couple of pieces that they can move off right now. Really, honestly, Arenado, maybe. I don't even know if you really want to go and get rid of.
Well, he doesn't. He has a no trade, as does Miles Michaelis and Sonny Gray, and none of those 3 want to leave St. Louis. I mean, it's a great place to play.
Yeah.
You're just not a good team right now. And if you want to go play for a contender, Arenado had a list of a few places he'd go. I'm sure he'd go to LA. I'm sure he'd go to New York still.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a draft, not who we are going to get in the for this year. I'm looking at who we're going to get for down the line.
Yeah, and I think that's and with Mosaic stepping down at the end of this year.
Woohoo.
I'm telling you. It feel like it's.
If I've learned anything in this past year, it's the man's name is not Chaim Bloom; it's Chaim Bloom. CH C salad. Didn't know that.
I did not know that. Chaim Bloom. Yeah, that's interesting. I thought it was too. And I don't know. You got to make a move. You got to make a move. Damn near at about, I would say, probably 6 or 7 spots. Get super young. Build up your farm system and start bringing those guys up through Memphis. I think that's the only way that they can go right now. And like you said, with them not being able to move some of those older players and probably till after the season, it's going to kind of screw them until next year.
Yeah, thankfully, several of those pitching pieces, his contract will be up. So
let's talk a little bit about the couple of players that fell in DVH's lap via the draft, because there was a guy just right down the road here at Fayetteville that a lot of folks had pegged to be taken high, I would say probably top 10 rounds, and ended up falling, and now he's going to be on the hill.
Yeah, and, we'll see where he plays. He certainly is a good enough athlete. He can play just about anywhere. I think most people are projecting him to be a shortstop or a third baseman. Nolan Souza coming back, if he's healthy, is going to get a shot at shortstop. Carson Brumbaugh, who is an outstanding player from Edmond North that would have gotten drafted, but he asked for too much money, or he asked for the money he wanted that would take him out of college. He's going to come in. He's going to have the opportunity to play right away. So that right side of the infield, without Brent Iredale hadn't signed with Pittsburgh, but the money is going to be there for him too.
Mhm.
So I'm sure he's going to do it like you said. Justin Thomas is going to go too, but they got T.J. Pompey, who's the kid from Louisville, and that will have the opportunity to play somewhere on that infield as well.
God, that would be so much fun if he hits a jack out of the yard and the only thing you're yelling is TJ Pompey. Oh my God, man, that kind of gets me jacked up a little bit. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Well, I'm sure that John has already started practicing it.
I bet you he has, man. We got to get him on. We're gonna get John on next Monday. I'm gonna twist his arm. It's gonna be my last broadcast here on Hogville. I gotta get him on, man.
Sounds good.
I did talk to Otis today. I will still be doing the predictions column for Hogville throughout the football season. So
okay,
I'm kind of like a spot on a clean glass. You can't get me out of here quite yet.
Sounds good.
I tried to take the high road there. There's a lot of low roads with that analogy. I took the high road off that one. So, but there were 3 Razorbacks. I want to switch to football for just a minute before we jump out of here. The 3 Razorbacks, Fernando Carmona, see here, Campbell, and then the
punter.
The punter,
Devin
Bale, all made SEC preseason.
That in effect right there, there's 3 teams. That in effect that you only had 3 guys on 3 teams tells you the situation they're in right now.
Yeah, it really does. And I know that there's a lot of folks out there that you start to listen to Sam, and he really likes this football team. And he said that quite a few times, talking about that they were deep at wide receiver. But at the same time, first off, this is probably statistically the deepest quarterback class in the SEC that they've had in probably 10 years. That's just something that I've kind of noticed. I think that if you go across the board, there are quite a few that are returners, and the ones that are coming in new, they already have there's been a place where they've also, good Lord, my words tonight, man, I'm burnt out today. It's only Monday. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Statistically, they're really good coming in. The returning starters, the new guys that are coming in, they do have some places where they have played where it does show you that they can have success. I know it's a line of scrimmage league, but I'm wondering that this may be a statistical league as far as touchdowns and also yards through the air.
Yeah, they certainly, when you have Taylor Green in second year in the system with Bobby Petrino, and he made a point of saying he was just out there making plays last year, still learning the game. He didn't have Aston Gentry to turn around and hand the ball off like he used to, although, he had some good running backs here last year that they were able to get some stuff done. But, he'll be a better overall quarterback this year. He'll still have that athleticism. Still be able to make great plays, I'm sure. The thing I see that he needs to do is make sure that it's kind of like in basketball, points off of turnovers. Yeah. You don't want that, and that did happen to him a lot last year.
They were last in the league in overall turnovers between takeaways and also giveaways. I mean, Otis has talked about this, and I'm pretty sure Sam read anything that Otis has wrote in the last, I would say, 9 to 12 months, that what he said at SEC Media Days was exactly what Otis has been saying. Your turnovers are going to kill you in the end, which they did. There was a chance that they could have had 8 or 9 wins last year, which they didn't. They didn't win the turnover battles. I'm pretty sure that there was 2 games. Well, let me rephrase that. The games that they did win the turnover battle. The only one that they lost was La Tech. So whenever you have those things happen, you are going to have a 6-6 season. Just this year, I don't know if Sam is going to be able to survive a 6-6 season. And it also is going to play out on how they win versus just the sheer number itself.
Well, they certainly have not done him any favors with that schedule. I've said many a time, I'm happy Arkansas and Arkansas State are playing. I grew up on that side of the state, went to a lot of Arkansas State games. I find it to be a novelty that I do think that the Arkansas State people seem upset that, excuse me, the Little Rock people too seem upset that he said no, he wants to play in Fayetteville. But that's why you have a 74,000 seat stadium.
Yeah.
I grew up going to games in Little Rock. Grew up coming to some in Fayetteville. Obviously, it was a much longer hike from Newport to Fayetteville than it was Newport to Little Rock. But I'm gonna sit back and watch it because it's gonna be a mess, one way or the other. Somebody's gonna get their feelings hurt. Somebody with a lot of money is gonna get their feelings hurt.
Someone.
And I loved having those games down there. It was a great thing at the time. But the times are moving past it. And you, in a day and age where you're having to cut 10% of your administration cost, when you have to usher a guy like Kevin Trainer out, thankfully he landed with a great new job at I think you have to make as much money as you can to not only have a successful athletic program, but to pay people.
Yeah. And you have
legally pay people legally now.
Yeah. You have to pay them legally. And I know that they've talked about with A&M no longer in Dallas. Now you have that home and home back again. You start to take that game out of Little Rock, and that could right there add 2 more home visits that you could bring in more high school athletes. That's what Arkansas was losing at that time. And I know the SEC is not doing the university any favors by having primetime 11 a.m. football games when you can't bring in some of these guys because they're coming from so far away. And,
as an old sports writer, though, I got no problems at all with 11 and 12.
I was going to say, that's putting you home before 5, and that's a great day right there.
Yeah.
But, man, I'm going to tell you, it is going to turn the tide a little bit, I think, after next year where you start to get those 2 more extra home. Well, maybe just a complete split down the middle of 6 and 6. That's fine. There are points where Arkansas had 6 home games, of which one of them was the home team in Little Rock and also in Dallas. That's losing 2 games right there. So that means you only have 4.
Well, everybody knows I'm a big Dallas Cowboy fans, and I really liked it at first because the Cowboys always played that next day and stayed down there. But I think it's only been like 2 out of the last 7 or 8 that they've had a game the next day. So that became a thing that wasn't as big a novelty for me.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, you're going to have folks that are going to be happy about it. You're going to have folks that are going to be mad about it. I mean, that's just how the cookie's going to crumble. But at the end of the day, the university has got to do what they need to do. That's what's best for the program. And so I think that's where and I know that Sam was very adamant whenever it was asked if you're going to be playing any more games against Arkansas State in Little Rock. He was emphatic before the question was even finished. He says, not only no, but hell no.
As if he already knows something.
I don't know, man. He might be putting the tea leaves out there.
Yeah. We'll see how it plays itself out. But again, it was great growing up. It had its time. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it anymore. What I am saying is I can see business-wise why you wouldn't do it anymore.
Yep. Dudley, let's get you out of here, man. We'll get John on next week too. He's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm gonna have to trust him a little bit.
Sounds good.
All right. For Dudley, myself, Jason, I want to thank you guys for joining us this evening, and go Hogs.